I wanted to tell you about the idea behind We Are Geniuses. It came to me in a meditation in 2023 that we needed some way of connecting. If we wanted to find a doctor who was a Dr. Joe student, or I wanted to bring someone into our working lives who shared the same ways of working in the 5D as us, how would we go about finding that? I really was strongly motivated that we needed this. At the time, I was really busy with work. I'm a web developer, so I had the skills, but what I didn't have was time. And I started noticing that things just kept happening bit by bit. I started getting jobs on board that were working in this very technology that would help me with this site. I got this arts charity who had this big community. And so I was working with a community website, and that was giving me an idea for some of the tech. And then I had this big client, and that kind of changed. So I had a bit more time. Then I went to Cancun in 2024, and I met a genius who was starting up an AI startup. And I worked with him for 10 months. And through that, I got a lot of different skills. I saw how really entrepreneurial people were working, and that was quite inspiring. And by the time that job finished and I could get back on top of my client work, I had all the skills needed and a bit of time to work on it. And so I brought the vision to life with the first version of the network. But it didn't quite take off, and I had to ground myself a bit in the 3D and do some jobs that were actually going to bring me some money and support me. Around that time, I also met Sam at a little weekend with Joe Dispenza meditations, and we got on well and we kept in touch. She offered me some free theta healings, and they were amazing. I offered her some help with her website. By working together, we were increasing our collective value. Each of us were bringing something to the table that the other were missing, and we were both becoming better than the sum of our parts. It dawned on me that really what was missing with We Are Geniuses was a community angle, because what I tried to create was something where people could just share their directory listings, other people would find them, and that was it. But it wasn't resonating in people's hearts. Meantime, in my local village, I was invited to a co-working space. I went along not really realizing it, but the women who were at this co-working space were all really quite woo-woo. I got there and they were out with the oracle cards, and they were really working on this concept of networking with kindness at their core and a bit of spirituality. And again, working with them, it was really inspiring. I was able to give them loads of technical advice on how to set up their businesses, how they might want their communications and all that kind of stuff. And they were promoting me to their friends, and all together we were lifting each other up again. It just struck this chord. Like when we come together with other people who are to make it in the business world or you get known, then we really can raise each other's vibrations. Sam suggested doing a community call, and I realized that was the missing piece of the puzzle. This was the idea with adding this new level to We Are Geniuses, this part where we connect and we talk and we can see what works for each other, and we can obviously add the whole 5D Dr. Joe element. Like, how are we doing it in the 5D? Like, what are we using in our business practice from our spiritual work? So that was the idea of We Are Geniuses, and I'm so grateful to Sam for coming on board, because having that extra energy has helped me elevate me and be motivated to provide this. I'm going to pass over to Sam, and she's going to take over for a little bit. So thank you, Sam.
Yes, thank you for that beautiful introduction. Now we can go over to the agenda. Thank you for already sharing the vision that you had and for giving us such a warm welcome. After this, we will do a heart coherence meditation, really short, to just help us relax and connect a little bit. And after that, we'll do a bit of an introductions. And no worries, there's not going to be anything formal, or you don't have to stress about this. This is just a chance to share a little bit about yourself and whatever you feel called to sharing. And then after that, I'll share today's topic, which is about doing the work while you're at work. And I'll walk you through a few ideas and a few practices that have helped me personally stay connected in my everyday work life, especially when it comes to working with people or situations that may be a bit challenging, maybe a bit triggering. And yeah, and after that, we'll do a bit of a breakout conversation. We'll see if we go into breakout rooms and where everyone can then share their own experiences when it comes to this topic, their own challenges, maybe insights or their practices that have helped you along the way. And finally, Naomi will give us a bit of community updates and share what will happen next within the We Are Geniuses. So let's get started with the opening meditation. So let's take a few moments to get into coherence together, and you can close your eyes if you like. Make yourself comfortable, bringing your attention into your beautiful heart and into the area around your heart. And you can just imagine your breath moving in and out through the heart center. You can slowly breathe in for a count of 4. And then hold for 7. And then exhale for 8. Breathing in for 4. Hold for 7. And exhale for 8. Inhale for 4. Hold for 7. And exhale for 8. Inhale for 4. Hold for 7. And exhale for 8. Beautiful. You can allow your shoulders to drop, allowing a jaw to relax, and allowing yourself to become fully present in the here and now. And as you breathe through your heart, I'd like you to think of one thing that you're grateful for today. And this could be a person, a place, an experience, or a moment that just naturally opens your heart. Something that's so easy to appreciate. And as you continue to breathe through your heart, allow yourself to feel the gratitude. And let it expand through your chest, through your body, and into the space around you. Beautiful. And take one more deep breath in, and slowly In your own timing, you can come back into this room. And when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes. Beautiful. Sorry for that rough cut. I had to switch my screen, so I had to cut the music off. But I hope you enjoyed that little meditation, and I hope you're just a little bit more in coherence. Yes, thank you. All right. So, for those who don't know me, I'm Sam, and I'm a certified theta healer, a quantum healing hypnosis practitioner, and a coach. And I work a lot with the subconscious mind. And my focus is on releasing emotional blocks and patterns that keep people from stepping into their best self, their ideal version. And what that really means is that I work with the subconscious mind and I help them release whatever is stored in the subconscious mind that is still affecting the way that they think, the way they act, the way they feel. And I help them first to be aware of whatever is in their field. And then I also help them let go of these unbeneficial habits or patterns so that they can step into their highest potential. So, through the subconscious healing, through the future self work and higher self work that we do, I help them access new timelines, new possibilities, and we're also using quantum jumping. So, an important part of this is connecting with their higher selves and their future selves and really create a relationship so that you can ask your future self or your higher self for practical action steps and real guidance. So, with all that gained knowledge and all these aligned action steps, you can then actually turn this into something a more fulfilling life, a more fulfilling business, feels more joyous, more aligned, and actually more powerful. So, before we jump in today's topic, we'd love to get to know whoever is in the room here with us today. Just to take the pressure off this, it's not going to be like a networking event where you have to pitch yourself or where you have to have that perfect introduction for yourself. You can just keep it really simple. It's enough to just state your name, where you're joining from, or what you do. And if it feels easier or more comfortable for you, you can also just answer one of these prompts that are here on the screen. Or if you are a bit shy today and you just like to relax and listen and take it all in, that's also completely fine. There's no pressure at all here. So listening is also participating. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank
Lovely to see you
you.
here.
Yes. So I think now we're complete, aren't we? Yeah. Okay. Thank you for everyone for sharing. It's really nice to meet all of you and to see your faces. Thank you for having your cameras on. And so we can now jump into the content. Today's topic is how to bring the inner work into your workday. Now, we may all have different jobs, as we just found out. Maybe some of us are also working in the office or we're self employed. We have clients. Some of us may be teaching or healing. And all of us, though, are doing the Dr. Joe work. And if you've been doing the work for a while, then you may recognize this one phenomenon where you have this beautiful, mind blowing morning meditation. And maybe you feel like you've seen through the veil, you are so connected. So you get up from that meditation, having the most beautiful intentions for the day, and then you go and start your day. Where you started off from cloud nine, you're now back at work where all the emails start to come in and you have to go into those meetings maybe that feel draining, or you have to interact with that one person that just knows how to trigger you. And your nervous system is totally activated before you even had a chance to have your first cup of coffee. And somewhere around morning, mid morning, the person that was in the morning meditation, super coherent, super connected, may seem to be gone now. And you may be frustrated with the world, maybe you're frustrated with yourself, because deep down you know that that version that you connect with in the morning meditation is somehow different than you right now. And that version of you may not get affected by the same things. So maybe you start thinking that you just need to work a bit harder. Maybe you're not good enough at doing this work yet, or there's something wrong with you. But the most interesting here is that most people actually think that getting triggered or getting reactive while at work means that they're doing something wrong or they're failing. But actually, it is the opposite. It's actually giving you the opportunity to take these triggers and see them as opportunity for growth. So the truth is actually that the workplace is not the enemy. It's actually showing you the situations, it's showing you the challenges, the people that you can respond differently to. So it allows you to practice being your future version, your future self in real life. Because becoming that person, becoming that future self doesn't just happen in the morning meditation when we do the tuning into new potentials or, I don't know, sinking to a new life, but it's about what happens outside of that meditation. When you get up from your meditation, you just live your life. So the real work begins at work. If you start looking at your daily life as a training ground for you and yourself where everything can change, instead of seeing it as triggers or as the enemy, then you start seeing them as information because every trigger holds a certain information. Every trigger is pointing at something that wants your attention. And sometimes it's stored in the body, sometimes it's the nervous system, but often these moments when we're with those difficult people, they are reflecting something that's unresolved within us. And that may be a wound, an attachment, a fear, or just a pattern that hasn't been fully integrated or healed. So, for example, imagine you have a toxic boss that criticizes you, then chances are that your reaction to that may not be about that person or about that moment. Chances are that it could be something that be triggered, something from childhood. It reminds you of a strict parent or a teacher or a situation where you felt powerless. So rather than asking, how do I avoid this trigger? A more powerful question is actually, what is this trigger trying to show me? And I really love what Dr. Joe says about this. He says it so many times, like it's not it's not about if he gets triggered or if he gets reactive, but it's about how long does he stay in that reactive mode. So the question can be, can you catch yourself a little faster? Because actually in every moment, your future self is waiting patiently for you to take that opportunity for growth, for you to choose what you maybe wouldn't have chosen, for you to think something that the old self wouldn't think. And when you start moving through your day with that perspective, then the workplace can actually become something like a spiritual practice because it is a mirror. And it's almost as if the future self is standing next to you, like your personal coach, coaching you through all the challenges. So, how could that look if you used your future self as your coach? It could look like staying present instead of getting absorbed by a totally stressed day. Or it could be not taking things so personally or not being pulled into the old stories. Or it could be releasing the attachment for things to go a certain way. And instead, it could be choosing something more coherent. choosing to be aligned. So I think the most powerful lesson here is that it is important to get the tools and to really practice to keep that future of your vision alive, no matter what's around you, no matter what's going on, no matter what triggers are present, because that is actually what creates the resilience, what creates the persistence, what creates the new self. So, what do we learn through Dr. Joe's work? We know that there are two different states, there's survival and there's creation. And why is that important? Because the body always listens to your emotional state. And as Dr. Joe says, most people, they're not even aware of what they're feeling and they're unconsciously rehearsing the stress throughout the day. And they're worried about the next meeting. They're worried about being frustrated about something that happened earlier today, or they're thinking about everything that could possibly go wrong. And over time, that body starts treating the survival state as the normal state. So it becomes familiar, it becomes automatic. And every time you observe that, and every time you consciously go back into your heart, every time you connect to presence, to gratitude, to trust, then we're teaching our bodies again that it's safe to create instead of being in survival. Because that's in the creation state, that's where we are connected to our future. And little by little, when these moments accumulate, you're actually creating a day that's in alignment with your ideal self. So don't let the environment decide who you are. Every moment matters. And every moment we do have a choice. Are we slipping back into the old patterns, into the old self, or are we practicing a new self? And if we look at examples of the examples here on the screen, we can see that maybe instead of reacting to everything, we could start influencing the room instead. And instead of just surviving the day, we could actually begin to intentionally create our experience. Instead of defaulting to the old self, we could rehearse who we become. And instead of waiting for work to feel better, we can generate our state before we see the evidence of it. And one thing I see a lot, both in myself and in my clients, is that people get so frustrated when they don't get it right the first time or every single time. And they may think, I should know better. Why does it take so long? But in reality, every day is different. Every day we're learning something new. And every day we're rewiring those old patterns that maybe have been running for years. So instead of judging ourselves, I think we can allow ourselves to be a bit curious. So, what actually happens when we become aware of these triggers, when we identify the emotions that are underneath, and when we start to heal and change? The interesting thing here is, and it's beautiful, because when we shift something inside of us, our field changes. And as a result, the experience changes as well. So, some common patterns that we may have in our fields may be fear, that may be fear of rejection, abandonment, or not belonging. There may be resentment, carrying the anger, frustration of the past, or control, having the belief that I need to control everything in order to be safe. Or there may be a pattern of people pleasing, feeling that you're only worthy if everyone is happy. Or betrayal, when there's a subconscious belief thinking that the next person will disappoint you, everyone is going to disappoint you. Or maybe unworthiness, the belief that no matter what you do, you're not enough. And what most people don't realize here is that life and everything we experience in life is often reflecting these patterns that are in the field. And that's why we may attract the same situations, the same relationships, dynamics, wherever we go, from job to job, from relationship to relationship, from situation to situation. And it's not because we are getting punished, but it's because life is actually showing us something that's in the field. And this is where we're taking responsibility for what is active in our field. And it doesn't mean that we start blaming ourselves for every little thing or every difficulty that happens. It's about becoming more curious and open and really looking for these patterns and these emotional blocks. So the most beautiful thing here is then if we change something in our field, then ultimately the external world will change as well. And I love to see that in the work that I'm doing and in my sessions, because when someone heals a deep emotional wound or a relationship, then all of a sudden relationships start change out of nothing. A family member all of a sudden calls after years, or a person that used to trigger them just doesn't have the same effect anymore. And it's not because the person changed, but it's often because the field changed. So, what can we actually do in those moments when the frequency is being tested? So, these are a few practices that have helped me personally over the years. This isn't meant to be a framework or something you should do. It's just an inspiration. And in a moment, I'll also love to hear what works for you and what practices you use. And I think that's what the call is actually really for. So these are practices that you can do when you don't have an hour to recalibrate to do your meditation. So the first one is actually really simple. It's pausing and taking a breath before you respond. And one tool or one process that I love from Dr. Joe is the change game from the book Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And it's called the pattern interrupt. And whenever an old reaction or old thought or an emotion comes up, you interrupt the pattern before you're pulled into it. And you can say change, cancel, delete. It doesn't matter what you say, but it's about creating a pause for you to have a choice. And the second practice is creating anchors throughout the day. And I've created several anchors during my day, and that may be whenever I open my laptop, whenever I walk through a door, whenever I'm waiting for an elevator. I use these ordinary moments as reminders for me to check in with myself and asking myself, how am I doing? How am I feeling? Am I connected to my heart? Am I being the person that I want to be today? And I also love reconnecting to the feelings of my morning meditation. So just remembering how I felt during my morning meditation, maybe there was an important insight or an elevated emotion, I just bring it back alive for that moment. Another very simple one that I use is using water as a energetic reset. So whenever I have to have a difficult conversation or whenever I'm around people that may not feel so aligned, I just wash my hands and imagine that heavy energy being washed away and going down the drain. It's very simple, but it's really effective. The last one is actually one of my favorite practices, which is the Ho'oponopono. And for those who don't know it, it's a Hawaiian practice that's based on the four phrases: I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. And for me, this is actually the fastest way to release any resentment, resistance, and to come back to my own energy, especially if I'm already there. I've already been triggered. I already resent that person, and I have this difficulty to shake this energy off. So instead of focusing on the other person, really helps me to take responsibility for whatever is active in my field and allowing that energy to move. And I've seen so many beautiful shifts just through doing this practice in myself and also my clients. And it's really cool to see how all of a sudden a long lost family member writes, or this old emotional pattern all of a sudden doesn't feel so strong anymore, or you can just finally move forward without feeling stuck. And because I use it so much, I actually created a around 10-minute audio where I just keep repeating these phrases. And it's basically just a guided repetition of these phrases. Listen to this whenever I'm on the way, when I'm walking, when I'm getting ready in the morning, or whenever I just feel like there is this energy that I want to clear. So if you're interested in that audio, it's actually free. You can find it on my website under the meditation section. The website is soulworkhealing.com. And yeah, or you can just reach out afterwards. Now I'm happy to send it to you. So these are some of the practices that I use during the day. And now I'm actually curious, what helps you to stay aware and connected during the day? So we have a few questions prepared here. And Naomi, should we create breakout rooms here?
So I thought if we use this poll and you pick which color you were at the last Dr. Joe event, and then we can split you in half based on colors. It sounds like there's an awful lot of us who are here putting ourselves out there for the first times, stepping into our powers, being creators, creating how we want to live in our future, how we want to build our futures, how we want to sustain ourselves. And I think it's really great that we can share some of the issues that we have. I'd imagine we've all got some common triggers as well. I was definitely triggered once or twice today. I had one client cancel a job because someone else offered to do it for a third of the price. So that was bringing up triggers of valuing oneself, money, all those kind of things. And I was actually quite happy because my initial reaction was to clench and feel the fear of the lack. And I very, very quickly moved through it, just being conscious of it, recognizing it, and knowing that the guy that was giving me the news is actually a really lovely guy, and that something better was coming for me. That trust, that trust in the universe, that there's other great things coming. Even if I'm choosing to spend half of my life right now working on free things, I am always taken care of. How are you all doing for time? I don't want to keep you on much longer anyway, but just a little review. Have you all got 10 minutes or so? Yeah, perfect. Okay, so I just wanted to share a few updates about the website. We're at 110 members now, which is great. So the first 111 people who are creator or quantum geniuses will get free lifetime access. We still do have 54 memberships left that'll give people free lifetime memberships. Sharing with your Dr. Joe friends, really good idea, because the more of us there is together, the more value we can add for each other. And I know, Sonia, you've got your directory listing. Sam, you've got yours. I don't think the rest of you've got directory listings, but the Genius directory is growing. So we've now got 16 listings here, which is really positive. I have worked a lot on improving how these are created. So now when you go in, you have a choice of what type of listing you can add, and you can even add your events in. So for example, we can see here that there's a meditation retreat in Egypt, which is pretty cool. We've got Sam's free masterclass with soul work healing here as well. And we've got meditation groups as well. So when we're talking about staying in our power, there's a few things here that could help you staying in our good frequency. For example, we've got a daily changing boxes meditation practice. So at lunchtime India and lunchtime UK, we have a 20 to 30-minute daily meditation. And you can go in there and you can join that group via WhatsApp, or that's the Zoom link that's always open. And we've got the Zoom Boom Room, which is a room that is always open, and every half an hour, on the half an hour, people go in and have a little chat, do a 5-minute breath work with each other, and then leave. So it's a nice way of keeping centered. And then there's this one, a daily chi huddle, which is like an MT release thing. So what I love about this is there's all these geniuses doing all these things, and this is all available to us. And the first stage is creating this framework where people can come and add their listings. And then as time goes on, the more that I can work on the site, the more powerful I can make this. I can start to have events happening now or events for today, or if you've got specific events coming up, maybe they could be emailed out. And we can really just start to get a bit more intelligent about how these things are hooked up. And then you might have people looking for things that can be matched to people who are providing things. And like there's just loads of potential. As we get more people and we can see how people are wanting to use this, then we can really start to wire things up perfectly. And Marion, are these memberships? Are these only for people in paid memberships? So yeah, the discerning thing here is that the people who can add directory listings at this point is people who are advanced Joe Dispenza students only. And everybody on that level at the moment has a free membership for a lifetime. So at the moment, they're free. And then after we've got 111 people on their listing, I'm probably going to do another level where we have the next 111 people, I don't know, maybe 1 year free, for example, or 50% off. And this is just to really invigorate it and encourage it. And if we can get to the point where it's becoming a really good resource for us all, then at that point, I'm going to add paid listings, but you guys are in at the ground and will always be free forever. And that's the way that I want it. As a return for that, I would love you to help me grow it basically and just get it lifted off the ground. That would be the ideal scenario. So for the people who don't have things to list, there's still things that you can have access to. I'm sure that even if you don't feel you've got a business to offer at the moment, it doesn't mean you won't in the future. And it doesn't mean that you won't get something from these networking calls because, for example, the one today, Sam's, was beautifully presented. Thank you, Sam. And that was really inspiring for me. And it gave me some ideas. I love the visual of seeing things in the field because even though it's familiar information to us and it's from Dr. Joe, it was presented in a different way. And that was really valuable for me as a visual learner. And also, this level 1 and 2 members can appear on the Genius map. So we've got that here. And that's, for me, that's so exciting now because obviously when I started it, it just had a couple of people. And now look at that, New Zealand, Hawaii, Canada, where's that? Oman. Yeah, South Africa. It's amazing. Like we're really getting global. And obviously, we've got the live networking calls, of which this is the first one. So, yeah, well done to me and Sam. You gotta love yourself, right? But I'm just really happy that we've done this and I look forward to what we can do in the future. And I'd just like to say this is totally open. It's a listening network and it's an evolving network. And I think I would love to include everybody's ideas. We are the creators. We can grow this any way we want. Who knows where it ends? Maybe one day we'll be having community gatherings. It could really grow. We're all here for purpose, and I'd love this network and site to be valuable for as many people as possible. And I've got loads of ideas of value that could be added and ways of making it provide enough sustenance for me in the future to work on it more. That would be the ideal scenario. And maybe Sam too, maybe anyone else who wants to be really involved at the ground. You know, it could be something that provides for us as well as for other people. So yeah, I've got loads of ideas of how it could go, but I also want to listen to the community and see how they feel it could go, or if they've got ideas of how it could become better. So very open for ideas. At the moment, you can just email me with them. I'll probably make some kind of poll or, form on the website where you can submit your ideas. Maybe we can vote on ideas and see how it goes. I've got ideas for donations, and with the donation, people could have a little say in the next thing that we develop on the platforms. I'm just very grateful to be here, grateful that you've all joined, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have at this stage.
I have a wee question, Naomi.
Yeah.
Because I'm really confused, because when you go on the thing that says 111 members, there's still 4 options and 2 of them are paid. So where am I in all that? I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, let's see if we can find you. Let's see. Oh, I'll look on the Genius.
I'm just on the second, I'm ticked on the second level, but I don't know what that means when it says lifetime.
Yeah. So second level, if you look at the membership options here, it tells you a
Mm-hmm.
little bit about what you get for each level. So you are a connected genius, which means you are an advanced student. You can view the Genius directory, which is the listings. You have your own personal profile. You can join these calls. You can see the map and be on the map. And Genius tools might come soon. So basically, you've got everything, but you just can't add directory listings. But if you did want to upgrade, you would get the upgrade button here, and you can just click on it if you had directory listings you wanted to add in the future.
But is that part of the free lifetime? Because I don't get that.
You're just free anyway. You would never be charged for the level you're on. So you're free for
No,
life.
no, but if I did upgrade, would that
Right. So
be,
you just
I
need to
don't,
use this code Original Genius.
what, and you don't pay that?
Yeah, then it's free forever. Free membership forever with that code.
I just didn't get that because it
Yeah.
still had the thing at the top. Sorry, I'm being a bit thick here.
No, you're not. I mean, the site is quite huge for one person to have made, and there's like
Uh-huh.
loads of improvements I could do to make it better for people, and that's quite a big job. I will be constantly tweaking it and improving it and making it better to use. One of the things that I'll be looking for actually are testers, because if I can view someone using the site, then I can see where their little areas of like confusion or frustration come in, and then I can fix it. I had a friend this morning adding a Genius profile, and I was watching her, and that was quite illuminating, because when you see someone else using it, that's where you can see the confusing parts. The pricing structure needs to think, because if I'm going to have 222 people for free, and then we're doing the live calls as well, there's a bit more value, in which case I might put the price up a bit. But as founding members, you can maybe help with that. There is lots of things we can do, like we can start to reward people who are sharing the site and getting people to join up, and that could be like a monetary value based on the levels as well. But at the moment, just focused on kind of growth and value. Yeah.
Okay.
Naomi, I had a couple of things as I was going back through and working. One is I wondered about the directory. So at the moment, it looks like it's just newest listings first at the top.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know if there's a point at which maybe those become random, so that the people who have long term.
Yeah.
And the other was when I was on the map, when you drill down to a certain point, like I think London might have been one, there's a 2 dot and you can't drill down anymore. And so you can't actually see who those 2 people are.
And Southampton. It's because they live so close together. I know who they are.
Yeah, and so there's no way to see who, to get their profile
Yeah,
up.
that's true. So
And there are a few of those on the map.
yeah, that's very true. I didn't want the map to like, zoom in on someone's house so that people could
Right.
literally turn up at the door unannounced. Hi. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
that would be fine, but you never know. So there's a certain level of detail that I allow the map to go to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll have a little look at that. That's a good point. Yeah, I hadn't noticed that either. Thank you. Anything else from anyone, or have you all made your? Can you give me a little thumbs up if you've made your listing, or if there's anything that's stopping you make your listing? Yeah, I think it is just you and Sonia. So, Marion, you've already said you're not thinking of something to offer right now. So we've got who've we got left? Antonia, you're a bit the same, I think. So, Jolita, sorry, is that how do you pronounce your name? Is that right?
Jolita, Yolita.
the same.
Jolita, Yolita. Oh, Yolita. Okay, love it.
Jolita in my language, but everyone here calls me Jolita, so it's like it's fine as well.
Okay, Yolita. I'll try and
Yeah,
remember
it's
Yolita.
it's okay if you don't, just fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's my to-do list, but it's just like all this computer stuff is like for me, it's like a big job. So it's like I have to be in the right mind to open my laptop and do this thing. So yeah, it's
Okay.
going slow. Eventually, it will be there.
Yeah. Well, if any of you have any problems with adding your listings, you can get in touch. And the other thing is, if there's something that you want on your listing that isn't there, if there's something you feel is missing, like, oh, wouldn't it be good if it did this? Then, just let me know about it. I am open to receive information and it helps me and make it better. So I'm grateful for the information that I get back from you guys as well. And I think maybe Antonia at some point might help us with some tech support in that area too. When we're so numerous that,
Definitely.
we need workshops on using the site and things.
Beautiful. So thank you for sharing this. I love seeing the map. And what I love even more is the bar with the quotes. It's so beautiful. I love so many of these quotes.
Yeah, me too. It's
Yeah.
lovely, isn't it? Just seeing what's resonating with other people.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, thank you all for being here, for being part of this. And I really enjoy these calls. I really enjoy the interaction and I love the breakout rooms. So I'd say let's keep it going, right? We want to make this a regular thing for sure. We still don't know when the next call will be. Naomi will be on vacation, but when she's back, we'll definitely back into this, right?
So probably the next call is going to be like end of July, start of September, because I am off for a month. So yeah.
Well, but let's keep the momentum going. Keep inviting your friends, share the link with others, and we can get bigger and bigger every time. And I love Dr. Joe's quote. After every retreat, he says the same. It's all about community. Connect. We're meant to come together. We're meant to build with each other. We're meant to interact with each other and inspire each other. So let's keep it going. Yeah, so thank you all for being there and yeah, have a lovely rest of the day or evening wherever you are. And I'm sending you a lot of love.
Yeah, thank you all. And thanks so much, Sam, for your support and co-hosting this with me. Really appreciate it and lovely to meet you all. Thank you for supporting my project.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.